It's a very important thing. Because of this is why I've been harping on you guys. This and Consecrated Sharpening Stones is why you want to get boosted now and not wait until pre-patch comes out to get boosted. Because the actual boosting itself, killing the mobs, is going to get heavily nerfed. Some people are still going to be able to do Maradon, but it's going to be really rough. A lot of the like mages on like 4,000 ping are not going to be able to do Maradon anymore, and it's going to be harder and more expensive and more in demand. Melee do get expertise, as Hearth said. That's like one of our other new substats. You get that in phase 1. Some classes care about this a lot. Some characters or classes care about this a little bit less. And then, of course, on caster mobs, you effectively always have 100% because they can't parry dodge. So that's something to keep in mind when itemizing. Casters get static haste, and then they also have to wait for that substat until phase 3 in the same way that melee have to wait for RPen. And then the biggest change also just in like how the game feels is in phase 2 forward, the game actually gets quite hard, I would say, compared to like how classic is, where in classic pretty much everybody full clears. In phase 2 onward, there's only about 15% of guilds clearing pre-nerf. Post nerf, everybody will clear. It feels like Molten Core. It's like a kind of slot fest, but like pre nerf is going to be really hard, and I think we're going to get pre-nerf probably to launch. And yeah, without GDKP ults, it's usually bloated, so that number is going to be a lot higher. It's going to be pretty hard this time around. What we can assume about the game and what we know right now. Like I said, pre-nerf encounters, JC's probably going to be out in pre-patch if you want to start stockpiling mats to level that. Primal Nethers will probably be mine on pickup until phase 3. Those are the things that drop at the end of every heroic. If you need those for your gear, you should make friends with a tank or make friends with a healer and start like getting comfy, like making dungeon groups and hard resing your stuff. This is going to be a very normal thing that you have to do in TBC. World bosses probably also BOP until phase 3. I'll cover world bosses more later, but I mean, all of us in here, for the most part, have done world bosses before. Blacksmith weapons probably also main hand only until Sunwell Plateau, which makes itemization a little bit awkward, but they're very good anyways, and everyone's who's a melee is basically going to be needing to run BS weapons. WoW token has been pretty heavily leaked. They like added in a ton of switches to the client itself for TBC, like selling packs, advertisement art. They wouldn't have spent money on that if they weren't planning on selling it. So we should expect to have WoW token at some point in the release cycle. And then also likely a 1 to 60 boost for about $60. Probably unusable on Draenei Blood Elf, but maybe it will be. Who knows? I would plan around expecting that it can't be.
I think last time it was.
Not initially. In phase 2 you could. But yeah,
okay.
not on launch. Still, yeah, level alts now, and worst case scenario, you just get another tailoring alt. Tailor Alk is like 200 gold a day. It's really good, especially early on. Kazakh, as we know it right now, I don't know if he still spawns in the crater, but at least he will spawn at city gates for all factions, all cities, and be kind of annoying to kill because there's so many low levels running around. But he'll just like spam spawn pretty much on all layers. So if you're somebody who needs items from him, that's your window to get it. After pre-patch ends, it will no longer be accessible ever again. So, and possibly Eye of the Storm if you want to pre-farm marks. For people who don't know about attunement stuff, the only real attunement is Karazhan. The other two are kind of open, but yeah, so it should be affecting. As far as comp and like what we're planning to run, there's basically 2 really competitive comps for the first half of the game, and then once we get further in, we'll probably have another meeting going into like Sunwell to talk about changes. But for right now, this is kind of the 2 comps that we're looking at. This is the 5-stack physical oriented comp basically. So you have like the 4 destruction warlocks and the Aflock here, and then you have the melee support group, melee stack group, Prot Paladin, 2 Arcane Mage with Shadow Priests, and then the like support class. This is a harder comp to run because it requires really high skill, from a bunch of melee classes that need heavy splits to, accrue that much gear. And then you have the much simpler to do, 9 lock comp where you just say fuck the melee debuffs, bring 9 warlocks. You'll see this on a lot of world first kills is they run 9 warlocks, and it's really easy to execute because you can find any retard and be like, here, press Shadow Bolt 8 times, and then the boss is dead. And you do like 99 parsing damage just from doing that. So, and then on AoE, you just press Seed 10 times. Oh, the pack's dead. It's really brain dead. If we have a ton of extra people and like we're just trying to like field out teams. We might do like one, kind of like for fun team on the weekend where we just throw like 10 mages into like a gruels or whatever and see how fast we can kill the boss for fun. But that's a big maybe. Compared to classic, there's near zero demand for warriors, rogues, and rets, with kind of a medium demand on the paladin classes, druid classes, mages, and priests, mainly for tanking paladins and druids. But you do take one of each, but that's generally where the shorthand is. And then high demand is, like I've talked about before, warlock, hunter, and shaman. Raid scheduling for phase one for 25 mans. Gruul Slayer will be like a loot council and or hug like raid that we do as a guild. If people want to host their own and hard res DST to skip the line on LC, you're more than welcome to do that, as you always have been for any content in the game. But it's especially encouraged here because there's like 15 people per raid that want this item, especially in the physical comp. So if you need to do that, that's totally fine. You can just opt out of the guild run and just give notice. The big thing that I would say is like try to have like a clone ready to do this. So let's say like you have either two hunters or two warriors or whatever. You could say, oh hey Hearth, I'm scheduled on Tuesday. I'm gonna swap to my after we kill Mag. I'm gonna swap to my other hunter, and then I'm gonna host my Gruul run on the weekend, and then hard res myself. And then Make Therodon will basically be the main scheduled content that we do, and this will probably be done every single day of the week in phase one because we'll just have so many people to do it with. The 10 mans, we have way too many people. We have over 200 signups. It's not reasonable for us to oversee all 20 weekly Karazans. There just isn't the characters or the officer coverage to do that. So we'll host some that will be like monitored by us, and like we'll do LC and stuff like that. But if you want to host your own, totally open to host your own with whatever system you want, whether that's like an SR, MSOS, +1, whatever you want to do. So um, that's most of it for raid scheduling. Sorry. Right now, level your TBC main to 60. Hopefully
you
already
can.
done and gotten Scourge Stones. Yeah. And then 2 to 3 weeks basically before pre-patch, around when we think it's about to come, we'll start kind of like pushing out Mark of the Chosen and other like big items to TBC characters, whether they're like a warlock or a hunter or whatever. And then the goal basically is that once pre-patch hits, we swap that prio to helping the shamans gear up. Basically, after you level your TBC character, try to get as many tailoring and alts as you can, and then gather raw materials for power leveling professions if you haven't already, or you can even pre-level some of the professions to 300 now. This includes fishing and first aid. Fishing we need for SSC later on. You might think, oh, I'll just do that later. I'll do it in TBC. At the start of TBC, all the content's front loaded, so it's a 3-month laundry list of stuff to do day one. You just want to, any way you can take time out of there and try to get ahead of it now is just way better. So anything you can get ahead on, try to get ahead on, including fishing. I just finished getting 300 fishing today. 20 marks basically of each honor token. Pretty much for every phase, there's going to be like an honor wrist, which is like very good or better than the previous raid tier. And it pretty much costs like a battleground mark, like you like those AV battleground marks, or like a Eye of the Storm battleground mark, or Warsong Gulch. Again, you can farm these now and sit on them until you need them for that bracer in that phase. And then obviously, if you're re-rolling Draenei, prepare anything that you need for leveling. Pre-make arrangements for boosting. Have somebody kind of like on retainer for that, and study the TBC attunement process. Leveling routes is very complicated, so there's a lot to know. And then we have channels down below as well to start reaching out to partners and stuff. You can pre-quest if you want, but it's honestly not that important. The biggest thing is the rep, which we'll cover now. During pre-patch, like I said, helping out the new shamans and stuff, kind of funneling them these key items. TBC characters getting prio on, badge, fetish, brooch, atiesh, shoulder enchants. Some classes might need the shoulder enchants more than others. And then you can farm Eye of the Storm. And then, yeah, here's launch leveling. I would recommend, you can level how you want, but ultimately save the quests. They will help you out so much later because you can only get dungeon rev up to a certain point. So having the quest to basically leapfrog yourself once you're done leveling is very important. There's a lot of guides that have been posted around that basically say, do this dungeon until this rep rather than do this dungeon until this level, and those are the ones I would follow. And then you're just basically going around and following the attunement guides, just way before you're even at that point. Um, your prio should basically be looking not just at hitting level 70, but also the first week clear at your attunement, at getting heroics on farm as soon as possible, and try to pick up, that previous while you're leveling or whatever. If you're a warlock, you want to go and start getting, your Quag's Eye farmed like every single day, HRing it for yourself, doing your own run, and don't allow yourself to choose your main basically solely off leveling. If you really want to play a warlock and like, whatever your group is like, oh, can you run a shaman so that we can level faster and you can do that next? Just play your warlock. Like play what you want to play what you're passionate about maining. It's you're gonna burn yourself out if you do all that, and then it's not a character that you want. And yeah, vanilla consumables will be very cheap that you can just kind of stockpile and send them in. TBC guild structure is going to be kind of a new role. You have obviously Guildmaster Hearth, some new officers that assist with admin work, and 25 mans. Class leads, just mainly helping with 10 mans and like old content. So like when we progress into like SSC and stuff, we'll need them to host rule splits, and have strong knowledge of one class. Again, the guild's going to get very big when we're all running this many alts, and the raid sizes get smaller. So probably picking up some more people. I think like Troopy just got promoted to class lead today. And then there's the new role of kind of core raider, which I'll talk a little bit more about on the next page here. Basically like a next level of raider. That's a core part of the team. Pretty much everybody who is a raider should be, your goals are just like working towards core in that first phase or two. And then member social if people are kind of just chilling, hang around, friends, whatever. Okay. The core system. Basically, this is a bonus role for people who want to sweat and grind and finish their characters off. With some perks, you get limited withdrawal access to the guild bank on the premium tab. This is kind of left open for now. Last time we had like GDKPs to supplement this, and we were selling belts and stuff, so we'll have to see what it kind of manifests as. But like last go around, we were letting people like take out like a stack of haste pots a day and stuff like that from the guild bank, which is really nice. At least for that character, it could kind of fund your rating.
Most of the gold came from
the GDKP, yeah.
cut.
So we'll have to see how it goes, but free guild repairs as well, like during raid time. So that's paid for, and then 50% off guild bank BOEs. There's a lot of really expensive BOEs in the game, like Blank Strike or stuff for mages, etc. So usually we'll try to like accrue these in guild and then pass them out later, especially if we get them off role bosses, etc. And then additional prio, especially for like special drops, mounts, whatever, ashes of Valar, all that kind of stuff. The full list of requirements is still kind of getting finished, but to give you an idea, like basically having your main and split alt fully gemmed, enchanted, attuned, raid professions, including fishing, first aid, all 375. And the alt basically needs to be Warlock, Hunter, Shaman, unless you have approval from one of us. Log review with basically no further improvements. Resist sets for the classes that need them. So tanks need resist sets for phase 2. Warlocks need fire resist sets. Seed sets, Blade of Wizardry, Blink Strike, etc. Aldor, Scryer, Zandalar. Arenas farm. So people who don't know, you can farm arenas without being good at PvP. You can just get up to 1,000 rating, which you can do with like a 20% win rate, because you can't lose rating below 1,000. And then if you just do 10 losses every week, at the end of the phase, you get your arena weapon basically going into the next phase. So at minimum, you can guarantee all your alts have the previous phase close to this main hand weapon, whether that's a melee weapon or a caster weapon or whatever. Future farming the BG marks, combat logging, etc. Basically, your character needs to be completely done in every way, and like raid logging, essentially. Split characters, as I said. There's an expectation to maintain a split character if you're a main raider, to help progression and farm. Also for kind of moving people around for loot and stuff, it makes it a lot easier if I can just swap somebody. Oh, hey, this belt is rotting in this run. We're going to swap this person's hunter for this person's hunter alt, rather than we swap the hunter for their alt rogue, who then that rogue needs to swap because they have a paladin, and then that paladin has a priest. Just makes it way more complicated. And then yeah. Also with that, obviously level what you want to main first, what you're passionate about. Just try to get your warlock, shaman, hunter ready by phase 2. And try to have like previs and everything and have it ready for that time. There's a ton of stuff to do phase 1, so like don't burn yourself out on it. And then obviously for speedrunning, we'll need engineering. So just try to have it by phase 2. You can kind of run other professions. Like I know Enhance is going to want to run blacksmithing and leatherworking phase 1. That's fine. Obviously, if you want to speed on Kara, then you're going to need NG in phase 1. But that's totally optional. There's probably only going to be a couple groups that are doing that. On the concept of like doing clones and split characters, you don't have to choose, this is going to be your main right away if you level 2 the same class. To give you an idea, like the hunter example earlier, having your alt hunter, your main hunter, whatever, farm DST, you could get awarded it in guild before, your main and the other run does, or vice versa, or whatever. You can wait until you get a contested item like that and say, hey, this is my main, I have this item, can you catch me up on gear, whatever, and that's totally fine. Same for like I mentioned, the Talon of the Tempest. You can do that too. If you're scouting, you can scout on both warlocks for that, and then whatever one it drops on first, you can just say, hey, this is my main warlock. Professions, PvE, obviously leatherworking, you need 1 per group. I'm not gonna get super into this, but we'll break off and discuss it class by class later on. But most classes that have kind of an extra slot, like either don't need blacksmithing, stuff like that, will probably be leatherworking. Everybody needs engineering phase 2+, and then warrior red enhance obviously needs blacksmithing until tier 5, which is Black Temple tier 3, or sorry, phase 3. And then casters, I believe, for the most part, need tailoring for quite some time, but obviously some classes are different than others. Shaman's going to break out of their tailoring very early if they care about that. And yeah, and an average raider, you should be expecting to like have to re-level professions a couple times per character throughout TBC. That's just kind of how it is. Like certain phases, it's going to be stronger. Different things are going to be stronger than others, right? Like jewel crafting is good until we get gems, and then all of a sudden it's not as good. That kind of thing. World bosses. We're not doing like a cross guild thing, at least right now. Maybe we end up finding like a guild that we want to vibe with or whatever, do something, but we can figure that out then. For now, we're kind of all under one roof. We'll still track hours just for like proof of effort and stuff like that, so everybody's aware of who's put the time in. But if you're scouting for a specific item, just make sure leadership know, and we can kind of keep it how we're doing it right now, where just like you're scouting for your item, whatever, and we can loot council kind of the rest of the stuff, at least in the meantime. In the same vein of that, somebody who doesn't need world boss loot, you could basically scout world bosses and create loot for the guild, and then ask for something else in return, right? If your class doesn't need anything, you can get other people, Talon the Tempest, Ring of Reciprocity, etc., and then be like, hey, can I get DST, whatever. We can figure something out. You have to express that to leadership, make sure everybody knows that that's like, what you're after. TLDR, if you can earn it, you can get it. To show you Talon. It's kind of interesting. It's one of the only weapons in the game that has gem slots, and it's a one-hander, and it has 2, and they're both yellow, so you can gem them haste in Black Temple, which is pretty sick. And then obviously, yeah, you all know that one. Money, gold's going to be really inflated, especially at the start. You should expect to pay around 10k gold per character, and some classes will require another 10k on top of that, like mage, like physical DPS. 4 blacksmithing, 4 BOEs, 4 blink strikes, 4 blade of wizardry, warlocks as well. So about 20k gold per character. Prices are probably going to shoot up closer to TBC, but I don't know. Just buy when you think is right. Be careful, use a burner if you need to buy. If you want to farm that much gold, good luck. But yeah, it's very expensive. Keep in mind this cost is very front loaded. So unlike Classic, where you're spending thousands of gold per week on consumes, once you kind of have this done, there's not really any other costs in the game. you can kind of just like raid log and float, and you'll like loot enough gold off stuff to like pay for your hate spots back. Especially if you have transmute alts with for like primal mites and alchemy or tailoring, all that. Also, you know, if you're not doing an alt right off the bat and you just go straight to farming Throne of Elements, I was making 3,500 gold an hour last time, and I farmed it for about 40 hours straight. So I made a fuck ton of gold net funded pretty much the rest of the expansion for it. So if you're somebody who's like, I don't think I can buy gold, I don't think I can farm whatever, this is like your window, is like hit 70 as soon as possible and then farm Throne of Elements is what I would recommend you if that's you. And there's a lot of casuals on the server, so it should be pretty open. And then this is just what I talked about, the inverse cost. Closing info, don't forget to have fun. It's just a game for all. And don't choose your main solely around leveling and meta. A lot of people ended up burning themselves out and quitting because of that. And don't stress about getting everything done right off the bat. The content's front loaded. There's like 3 months worth of content on launch. You don't need to do 3 months of content in a week. If you like really want to rush core, you can do that, but like you don't have to. You can just get it done when you have time to get it done, right? As long as you have it done by like phase 2, so that you're attuned and you're ready, you're able to speedrun when ready, then that's kind of the big picture of it. So, and then we'll do class-specific breakout stuff later because I don't want to sit here and talk about enhancement, swing timer, desyncing in front of 70 people. Does anybody have any questions? I'm sure we do, but just like about stuff that's related to everybody and the guild, not like, oh, what do I do for this class? I don't know if people just want to type in the chat or you just want to jump into it, somebody. Everyone's quiet.
One thing that's really helpful is getting the
Mhm.
attune add-on, because if you're not sure about the attune chains,
Yeah,
other
it's
people do
actually
know
Yeah,
and
required.
see
great.
where you are on
Yeah,
the map.
we'll require
it's,
attune,
it's
yeah.
not just good; it's required. And the reason it's required is because it
Right.
allows us to see where you guys are in your attunements, so that we can keep track and make sure that you guys are doing everything for. I mean, the attunements are
We'll
everything.
ping to install that when we get closer.
everything.
Yeah.
I have a question as a TBC noob. Why do we need fishing for?
Because you have to
SSC?
summon one of the bosses in SSC, and everybody fishes. It comes up instantly, basically.
Like a 5% chance to spawn it per fish cast. So instead of sitting there for 2 minutes, you can have like 25 people cast and damn near get it instantly.
Yeah,
Oh,
the only
How are we
person
gonna
that
know
really
Bobbert fished it up?
the only person that really can't fish it is the tank, because they want their weapon and shield on to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess you don't have to have the pole on. You could just fish without it, but it's just not efficient.
Pretty sure you need it on, but
Do you need the
whatever.
pole on in
Pretty sure you do.
TBC?
You do.
Yeah. Yes.
Might be
Okay, I
helpful
thought they
for the
changed it.
people that don't know if we take like someone's pre-questing list and like post it somewhere and be like, hey, this is like a place to start, and then you can pick quests from it if you want. Because like
I mean,
never
I
would have
wouldn't
known
say
where to start
pre-questing is
from without
super.
Nuck and Ribcap.
Yeah, it's not super necessary, but yeah, I mean, if people want to post stuff, feel free.
What-
to
what'd
post
you
it in,
ask?
Like, a
Sorry?
leveling channel.
I was just asking if it'd be worth to post like a pre-questing list, like in like a specific channel, so people don't have to search for it.
There's some videos. Yeah, we could get pull a video that has like all of them, or like a bulk of them. But yeah, there's lists out there that are better, and we could just pin it.
What's recommended base loot for leveling? Sorry, I'm just reading this in the chat. Shamans, mob tag yourself to 15, and then get in stockades, and then get in SM at 20, and then do SM to 30, and then try to get into Maraudon if you can find a booster. You're probably going to need like an in-guild booster that knows the balance changes and speaks English and can like talk to you and wait for you, because
It shouldn't be that hard. The Mara
it's not going to be
450
hard. I just think
Mara-
there's going to be a
Mara's easy,
massive
though.
shortage of like
Yeah.
competent boosters ready to do it day one.
Yeah.
SM's pretty good beyond 30 though, and it becomes
Yeah.
easier to do for mages. Like it's that's what I did on my paladin. I got boosted, and then I went into Mara, and then I got boosted in Strath.
And then Forte,
Plus,
what were you
Hearth
gonna
will be
ask your
boosting
next
on his
year?
paladin, of course, right?
I mean, boosting is not really efficient on a paladin till 70, or yeah, till you're
I
70.
don't want
It's
to
until
speak
70,
for
yeah.
Dante or Anon, but the three of us can do strat boosts right now. So if you have alts and they get
Just
to
post
50,
in the chat about it.
The
in
the
the
big
leveling
the
chat.
big the biggest thing is
Forte,
going
what-
to be to getting shamans up and getting anybody who's doing a Draenei hunter swap. So any Draenei hunters and any shamans, the warlocks should already be leveled. There's no point in wasting space boosting warlocks. They should already be boosted. We're boosting shamans and we're boosting hunter alts. Basically, are the two big things.
You have to just pay for the warlock boost
What were you
anyway.
gonna ask? Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we might want
It's
to.
gonna come out on a Thursday, so it's gonna be fucked for the first week at least. So it's gonna be pretty ad hoc.
Yeah. So we're gonna likely. I mean, but we'll probably do signups and try to do some extra Nax raids because a lot of the gear. I mean, people are gonna be boosting for the most part, but for the week after, if we do have some new 60s. We'll probably want to do some extra Nax raids if we have the characters. We'll have a lot of people playing probably. The speed doesn't matter, so we'll have people mixed up. We still want a lot of warriors though. I'm not sure if world buffs still are good, right? You could still take world.
You can
world
use them
buffs.
until 63, yeah.
Yeah, until 63. So you'll be able to use world buffs, which you still will want to get. We still will want to get world buffs. I'm not sure how Blizzard will do it this time around. If they're gonna do something special, like they just did this Oni buff. But you definitely still want warriors to carry the Nax runs. But we'll try to get as many going as possible. It will be the goal.
So there's currently no plans to alter the schedule, or okay. Basically, what I'm asking is Nax going to turn into what AQ40 is right now?
What else would we be rating for pre-patch?
Okay. You know what? Let me correct this. When TBC launches, what is this? Is Nax going to be on your own, or are we going to be running that?
So when TBC comes out, the goal is to level as quickly as possible. We're not going to waste time doing Nax until we have things stabilized. The goal is to get as many people to 70 and alts to 70 as possible, and to get people through their Karazhan attunement. The Karazhan attunement takes a lot of time, and the attunements for SSC and everything else, and then obviously you don't need to work on your other ones, but you could get those quests done. But the goal is to 100% gear up. Get your first character to 70, gear it up, and start leveling your alts as soon as possible. That is a goal. We will run Nax retroactively. Probably won't do more than one in TBC.
It'll probably be a Friday thing, just a chill Friday run.
We do want to get additional ATSs. People won't want to get fucking legacy items. There's still good fucking items in there. If somebody's leveling up a Ret Paladin to 70, I mean, Mom is still really good for them at 70. So it's you could scoop a piece of Prebis in there even on an alt. But Nax runs could be fucking hell at 70, even with extra people. I forget when we go into Nax, you could still take 40 in there. Yeah, you could still take 40 people into Nax. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just the other raids are the ones that are capped. So yeah, I mean, if you have 40 people, it's not bad for sure. You could just blaze through it. But if it you're trying to run it with 25 70s, it could be AIDS, and especially if you don't have the comp and shit, because the content still kind of is rough. But it's not it's not impossible with half size groups at 70. It's just not as easy as just blazing through it with a full 40. So. Any other questions?
Comment. So they lowered the for heroics. They actually lowered it to what is it, honored other than revered last time. It should be the same.
Yeah, that was a later change. It'll probably still be revered on launch though, right?
I don't think. I think it was honored.
Yeah, it was a late change.
It's part of the.
Was it?
It was also when they removed the Karazhan attunement. I believe.
Yeah, it's definitely still revered at launch. I remember that being a fucking grind.
Yeah,
I could have sworn it was on. Okay, well, whatever. It's been fucking 4 years, so
5 years.
They take out the SSC attunement as well when they do the nerf to it. They kind of do a phase 2.5 and a phase 1.5 for each, where they remove or nerf a lot of that stuff. Which is why it's it's kind of important to have your characters ready for phase 2, because even if you don't finish quite everything, there's enough of a catch up that you should be done by then. You should be looking to be ready for SSC, basically.
Yeah, so it was basically a catch up mechanic. I don't think they're gonna release catch up mechanics that. They may do some like quality of life changes. Like I'm trying to think, like guild banks weren't in TBC originally until the end, and then they put that in at launch.
They added them last fresh in phase 2.
Oh, was it phase 2?
Yeah, when we looked at it. Yeah.
Oh, right, you're right. That's right. It was phase 2. Okay, I do remember that now.
Um,
So yeah, you may not have guild banks right away, but it could be something that we see
yeah.
on launch
I
instead
would
of phase
assume a
2.
lot of the later season changes like kind of fall into the same categories as these. Just assume that they're going to be the harder version, and then, if they're not, then yippee.
Yeah,
Like
so
same with like Primal Nether's World Boss Loot. Just assume they're all BOP. Assume all that stuff is as it was on launch last time.
the biggest quality of life stuff that we're hoping for, not that this is necessary to talk about, but just I'm hoping for is that they add in a bind on account attunement system, kind of like they did for Wrath for a lot of stuff. So once you hit revered on a main, you as long as it's on the account, BNet included, all those characters are attuned basically to the heroics. Once you get the attunement done on one character, all your alts are attuned. I doubt they're going to do something that extreme, but Wrath introduced a fuckload of quality of life stuff that we didn't see in original Wrath that made Wrath actually playable, because original Wrath was very rough for people who didn't have a lot of time. And so they definitely wanted to make it have a easier
Definitely just go into it prepared though for everything to be like the hardest version, most grindy version,
Yeah.
etc.
Just like, yeah, it's just a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time, especially for like maintaining more than 2 characters. 2 characters isn't too bad, but if you're planning on doing like 3, 4, 5 characters, just you're basically like playing the game like 30-40 hours a week, just for a bit at least. You got to do a lot of work on the front end, but you guys should be able to maintain 2 characters pretty easily.
Aloric, as far as that goes, phase 1 probably not really, like maybe a couple Kara groups will be speedrunning, but like the other 17 probably just clearing the content. Going into phase 2, I'd like to have at least 1 physical speed comp and 1 like 9 lock speed comp, just so that way we're like ready for whatever the meta ends up being, or if we have some super like high gamer warlocks, like then they can crank on that raid, or if we end up with like some really gamer hunters or warriors, then they can perform there, and then kind of everybody has their chance to like push speed in a comp that works for them. But at least 1 of each. I think it's pretty realistic that we're gonna have like maybe 5 to 7 raid days, and like we're even promoting more like officers and shit probably to like cover those days, and expecting people to raid lead. So it'll be almost every day, I'd say, at least while the hype's there, while people are kind of really playing. I mean, if you remember in early Molten Core when we had like, was it 4 teams or 5 teams, I don't even remember, or 4 teams in an SR run, it'll be like that at first.
Yeah, what we really do need though is a lot of people who have warrior selected. Unless there's some major changes, we're likely not able to facilitate that many warriors. You probably want to just take a look at it and decide to play a hunter. And hunter is pretty fun in TBC. It's kind of the warrior of, I know the warrior is the warrior, right? But we do have a lot of warlock signups. I'm happy
need
with
more.
Could always need more. Yeah.
I would say like just having a warlock alt is, if you want to be able to jump in raids and have something useful, warlocks are extremely useful. So
if you want to be the like goodest of good boys, make 2 warlocks, and like you're set basically. Like that's what you want to do. Either like that or like double Arsham. Like I would love you.
Oh, that goes for the Ret Paladins too. Somebody just messaged me about Ret Paladins. We may not be running a lot of Ret Pallies. Like it could be like,
yeah, like in this we run a red in this comp, but in this one you just run 2 prots because you don't have the bear.
You may just run 2 rets or 2 prots, and then just have the one go ret when you only need 1 tank, and then have the prot ret spec.
I'm gonna have ret holy if that's better, I guess.
Well, see, that'd be worse in the example that I'm showing you. But what I'm saying is that like so ret is really, the damage is okay, but like if we're looking at like our guild, which for the most part, we're trying to min max as much as possible. We actually like had way too many mages this time around. Like we should be down to like 3 mages in all of our Nax groups, but we have, we're running 4 or 3, and we ran like too many. We ran like 5 mages and other content. Like we really want to like start to go towards more what the meta is going to be. Obviously that doesn't mean like phase 1 we're going to run 10 arcane mages to have the fastest Gruul's Lair for whatever reason, just be weird. But it doesn't mean like we don't want to have the utility and like the options to be able to do stuff like that if needed. I would say it's just like I just want you guys to like have your expectations set that like there may not be space for that many ret paladins. There may not be that much space for obviously rogues. Like that is a for sure thing. That is not going to be a thing where we're running 2 rogues.
And if it comes down and it's like if you want the red spot and another guy wants the red spot and you're both equally like skilled and like he's got a warlock ult or an arch shaman ult or a hunter ult and you don't, like it's probably going to be him. Like at the end of the day.
But if you're going to play ret, I would highly suggest that you know how to tank.
Yeah, definitely. You should be prepared to play both specs.
Yeah.
Well,
especially with
I was
dual
going to
spec
run
being a
2
thing.
paladins, so one was going to be strictly
No,
just tank.
like each no. Each one doing both, like depending on the boss.
Like I'm saying mostly for like our speedrun comps. Like obviously,
Gotcha.
like we're gonna have non-speedrun comps
Gotcha.
that are just but those comps are still gonna want to parse and they're still gonna want to do the content quickly, and that means that we're not running extra healers, we're not running 3 rogues, we're not running extra shit, 3 ret pally, shit like that. Like we're trying to be as meta as possible with the comp, and we're also trying to just get those teams to be high on the damage when it comes to any logs. But it doesn't mean that like we may not have like a fucking around comp or something, but it's not a guarantee. I just don't want you guys to be disappointed. I don't want there to be expectations where it's like, I said I was going to play a ret paladin, I put it on this survey, I did it 3 months ago, there should be a ret spot for me. It's just unfortunately that's just I mean it's a good class if you play it at 100%. It's hard to play at 100%, and it's unlikely that like if you're not like somebody who has done that previously, you're just going to be able to jump in and be like, I'm going to be like one of the best ret pallies on the server. If you do that, then like yeah, there could be potentially like a ret spot for you. Maybe we could look at not having to tank, but again, like we're talking about like the 1% or less people, and just you need to look at like what type of player you are and be like, is this going to be me? Am I willing to invest this much time into a character that may not have a raid spot because I'm choosing to do something that is in the minority on the rosters versus something that is a majority on the rosters? But that doesn't mean necessarily that if you play a warlock, if you're playing a warlock at a very low level or a hunter at a very low level, that may not necessarily mean there's a spot for you there too. Like again, like when we boil things down, we're going to build these comps around the people who invest the most time into their classes. And we'll see if there's where there's going to be as far as space. But the more players we have, the more teams we can build. So, any other questions?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Lock on Roids. So I keep hearing like the plan is to build multiple teams, but is there like a core team right now that you're anticipated running with and stuff? Because I know there's a lot of recruits from what I'm seeing in the guild, but
there's probably going to be a massive shakeup on launch.
Yeah, just because nobody has tenure, right? I mean, we're running 40. I mean, even if you have a lock right now, I mean, obviously we have locks that are going to come in with Atiesh, right? And those locks we're going to obviously want to keep because it boosts up all the other warlocks. They're going to use their Atiesh until probably like Black Temple, and probably even a little bit into Black Temple. They're going to be keeping that on them. And we're trying to get as many as possible. So we have those warlock groups, and we have and they'll even probably do swaps with Atiesh on like trash, just to get more spell power. I'm not 100%. I mean, obviously we'd have to like
Blade of
map
Wizardry.
it out. Yeah, Blade of Wizardry would probably be what they want, but I'm saying for like the groups, like to give the rest of them. I don't know if the spell power divides and if it's better to run Wizardry. All right, yeah, it's capped. Okay, whatever. My point is that we're gonna have those warlocks. We're gonna bring those warlocks in. if if they suck ass, like we gave Zerai a fucking Atiyesh. If Zerai comes in, he fucking sucks ass. Just as an example, Zerai, I'm not calling you out specifically. But if you come in and suck ass, like I'm gonna be like, bro, you're dragging down the fucking team. Then we wouldn't just have him there just because he has an Atiyesh. But yeah, I mean the if you have logs and you show me your logs and you're a recruit and you show me TBC logs that are very good and you are putting the same amount of effort in that other people are, then you will have a spot over somebody else that isn't playing as well. And if you want to be on the speed comp and you have credentials, which would be
you can hard
TBC
gap
logs.
See the corruption. It's insane. Like you can
Yeah.
do like 30% more damage than somebody with bad uptime and shit. It's so free.
Just show me credentials and then perform like you performed 3 years ago, and you have a spot. It's just obviously like I have to see, but we're not. What I'm saying is I don't want people to feel like, okay, I've been here for the last year, I'm guaranteed a spot, just because I've been around.
Yeah, it's never been how we done things.
Yeah, it's just again, like I try to fit as many people in as possible. We're running 3 raid teams right now. That's a lot for us. Like 3 teams in Nax right now is probably very much in the minority. I would say there's probably less than 5% guilds, if I had to throw a number out right now, that are running 3 or more teams in Nax right now. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is more common. So the goal again, with translating that would probably be five teams across the weekdays. But we definitely want the core team to be to be hard splits. Where we could potentially run, content back to back on alts and stuff, especially as it's easier. And then, yes, as time goes on, we may phase down a bit and go into smaller things, but that would probably be like people that would be either cutting days. But I at this point right now, I feel like we're looking at like people that want to be running daytime, weekend stuff, daytime, weekday, even like on alt shit. So there's probably going to be space for, extra.
There's going to be DSC splits at all hours of the week. Like I could easily see us doing like 12 plus like gruels in a week, just because people will do like 10 guild members and like 15 alts, and they just, or not alts, 15 pugs, and you just hard res DSC.
Yeah, but if you are showing up, you're putting in the effort, you have a good attitude, and you know what you're doing, there will be a spot for you 100% on a competitive team. I have always figured out a way to make it work. It's not always perfect. Sometimes, yes, somebody does have to bench and whatnot, but I've made it work. We will figure out a way to make it work. I mean, I've had to bench my paladin. I'm putting him more in now. Now that there's a little more space, but because I've had people come in and want to play, I've benched myself for them. I'll figure out what we have to do to make it work. And if that requires, putting in some extra work for a few months and running some extra teams, then that's what it will do. So I have a question here. Yeah, of course, brother. Yeah, brother was definitely going to step up and help with running as well. If you guys didn't know that, brother wants to be running a team as well. Shit, brother, if you want to fucking lead the fucking speed team, you can lead the fucking speed team. If that's what you want to do. If you want to just lead a regular team, you could lead a regular team. If you guys do want to run
you can
teams,
shoot my balls off if you want. Just let us know.
You can have them.
If you want to run teams at off hours and stuff, if you guys have like an idea, or you're like, hey, I'd like to do something, maybe on Saturdays. I can't always be there on a Saturday, but I'd love to do like a sign up based raid on Saturdays during the day, so that when I'm not, and if it's an SR run, then make it a fucking SR run. So that way people who like missed raid because of bullshit during the week can, fill on that team and do that. That would be amazing if we have people that could consistently. I can't always lead those because sometimes I'm out of town. So if we had people who are able to lead those on like a Saturday, Sunday type of situation, that would be amazing if we could do that. So if you are able to do that, and you have the credentials for that, we can absolutely do that. So Any other questions?
TBC add-ons, is there? I'm assuming there'll be like a list of those somewhere as we get closer for different things.
Yeah, the biggest one that you're going to want for TBC is a tune. There's probably going to be some weak auras that I'm sure might like pop up. A lot of people have uninstalled the layers weak aura. We pinged about it. Please install that, and that's probably going to be used in TBC as well, just for layer swapping and layer hopping. It's very important that you guys have that. Obviously, there'll be some add-ons that we're not using, but those are probably the biggest ones. I'm trying to think if there's anything else added that you really need. That's pretty much it. There's like a tune is the biggest one. I'm telling you, like, as far as logistics go and like just making sure everybody has their stuff, like you need to have. You could download it now and then just set it and forget it, and it literally like keeps track of who's attuned for like Ani and Blackwing Layer, Molten Core and shit, and Nax. And it shows like what the requirements are, what you need. It gives you the whole quest line. If you've never used it, it's probably one of the best add-ons you could use for TBC. It is the most important add-on you could use in TBC. Any other questions?
Does it cream or does it squirt?
A little bit of both, actually. Just depends.
I don't know how it'll be used in TBC, but there's an add-on, the Reputation Classic Guide, that not only sorts it by what your faction currently is, you're standing with them, but it also has some of them have it tracks everything that you could do to get rep with said faction in the little box.
The thing is, though, Bobbert, is it's not about individuals seeing it; it's about us being able to see it on our end.
That too.
Attune lets us see your rep, your progress on all your characters because it syncs to guild.
Yeah, there's really not much you need to know about getting rep for other things. Like, yes, there's like it's very simple. I mean,
You run the dungeons in the right order, and then
Yeah.
and then you follow the quest guide at the end. That's it.
Yeah, there's like some like factions that you could get like some items for, like Alder Scryer. You have your enchants and stuff. You have your mount ones and some extra patterns and special items and stuff that you could get. Like there's the fucking Nagrand people that you can get rep for. I forget what the alliance ones are called, but you can get your Tallbucks or whatever. That's for that type of shit. This is like, you go straight into doing dungeons and then you do your quest, and it's very, or you do your quest and then you do your dungeons, and then you can go do the quest and finish out the rep of the quest, and then you get your attunement done really easily. So
Did I hear that Brother was going to be raid leading from now on correctly, or is that just a TBC thing?
He asked if he could lead a team, and I was just basically publicly saying like, "Yep, you can lead a team." I don't know if he wants to do the speed team or whatever, but I mean, I'm happy to have other people that know what they're doing help out, because I'm split or spread so thin with even just doing the 2 to 3 teams that we're doing. Frost is kind of taking over Thursdays, but it's a lot of work to maintain this, and it's important. Like right now, it's like if we don't finish in one night, we're kind of fucked, and we have to like extend it. And so like that's a lot of like stress where it's like, man, I hope we don't wipe and early and lose world buffs and have to do this. So it's just it's kind of a nightmare. The more people that can help out with stuff, the better. And luckily the officers have been really good about either when I'm not here, I can't be here. Just kind of, in all honesty, it is a lot of it is Frost, but you do the guild bank and stuff, and Genie and everybody else helps starts raids and gets everybody in. If I can't be on right at invite time, so I appreciate the hard work with that. But yeah, the more people that can help out, the better. It can't get like too big where it's like there's too many cooks, but as long as we have the right amount and everybody is doing something and not just there to make I want to vote on loot, which is like why a lot of people want to be an officer. And that's not the reason you should want to be an officer. That's, to be honest, I think loot is important, which is why I like to do it. But I mean, officers can tell you, like, I like being the least involved with loot decisions, unless it's something that's like majorly important or there's like a major item that needs to go somewhere. I prefer them to just work it out, because I'm not somebody that like loves to like pick and choose between 3 people that like really deserve an item. That's a hard decision. So the officers help make those decisions, but it's hard to pick people. I mean, I want to give the item to everybody, right? Obviously we have to pick, and
a lot easier in TBC when it's between like 2 or 3 of the same spec, and if there's 3 of one spec and one of them's the split alt, and the other 2 are the mains, it's like, oh no, I'm second on an item. Like, pretty much like DST is the only thing that there's like a line for that, and like if we lean heavy into caster stack phase 2, then like there'll be some lines for items there, but for the most part, like it's nothing like how it is in Classic. Like you don't go into phase 1 content still in TBC because you still need stuff from Carrot. Like that's just not a thing at all. It's in TBC, it's very realistic for like every main to get bis everything. Like that's just something that like commonly should be happening if you're, doing what you're supposed to be doing.
What the hell?
Yeah, Zipit valued that over being an officer, so he stepped down.
He had to quit.
Christ.
Is there anything else in like a serious note of it? I think we really covered everything, but
Make sure we take care of the enhances.
Yep.
Again, Frost.
Yeah. Cool. I mean, if you guys think of anything later, you can reach out. No worries or whatever. I'll get to it when I can, and then I'll probably host like another meeting that's like, with physical classes later, and I'm sure the casters are gonna do like their own little huddle as well, for like what to prepare that's more class specific, so that I don't have to hold 70 people hostage. So.
Are you gonna post this PowerPoint at some point? Slides.
Yeah, I'll post it in the channel and send it out to the people who weren't here. So.
I did
Cool.
message Hearthburn about it, but I'm willing to lead or help lead runs on the weekends. That's when